Welcome back to Vital Science Consulting, where we're talking business strategy and personal development, and we've been talking about culture. One of the things we'd like to do is to share a business tool with you, because people will often say to us, well, you say that we need to cultivate culture. It's not something we can just leave to chance, but how do you practically go about doing that? And there's a wonderful tool that you can apply, which I'm going to ask Gerhard to share with you.
If you go and Google Dr. David Rock from the Neuro Leadership Institute, there's a white paper called SCARF.
As in a
SCARF, yeah. And it's an amazing tool that changed my life, and SCARF is part of my DNA, that I do it without even thinking about it. It changed the way I do business, it changed my relationship with people, and I would love to share the SCARF model with you. So when we look at neuroscience, is that the brain cannot multitask, believe it or not. It can do things very quickly, switch on, switch off, but it cannot multitask. And your brain can only be in two states, in a away state and a toward state. So when it's in an away state, that is when you, for example, go and buy something and the salesperson is very pushy. Immediately your brain goes in an away state. And it doesn't matter how that person is going to sell to you, you will not be interested. But if the person is nice and your brain is in a toward state, you will buy most likely.
So I can come in there because I think you've said something really important. There's a real buzzword about engagement, like are your staff engaged or disengaged? And I think a brain that's in a toward state is engaged. A brain that's in an away state is disengaged.
Yes. So the idea of SCARF is that when somebody is in an away state, is to use the model to get them in a toward state and then present your model or your business plan or whatever you'd like to do. So the S stands for status. Now we all got status. When you're a business owner, your status is high. When you're at an office. But as the business owner, he might go that evening to a snooker competition where he's going to play his first snooker tournament, so his status will be low. And then tomorrow morning he might go to the tennis where he's the captain of the tennis team and his status is high. So our status fluctuate during the day, depending on situations where we are. By affecting somebody's status, you can take them to an away state. So, for example, we can sit in a group and the manager will walk in and say, I want to see you in my office now. You made a huge mistake. And he walks out. How do you think your status will feel?
Immediately.
Immediately, understand. So you will go to a away state. But let's say, for example, the owner walks in and says, whoa, that is such a beautiful scarf you're wearing or jacket. It really suits you. How do you feel? You feel good.
Elevated.
And you feel elevated. So we can sometimes say something so small that can take somebody's status from high to low. So the words that managers use are so important. And the tone they use is so important. And that can also be part of company culture. That they say, but the boss is always screaming. The boss is always slamming a door. Because that is how he manages his stress, but everybody feels it. And as soon as that happens, people go in an away state. So status is really important, how you manage status for your staff. The C is for certainty. The brain loves certainty. If you sit in a group again, and the manager walks through the door and say, in my office now, and he walks out, immediately what happens in its stomach?
Anxiety.
Anxiety, because you don't know why he wants to see you now in his office. Okay. But if he walks in and says, Kathleen, I would like you to see in my office to discuss the budget for next year.
Yeah, Totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different feel.
You know, he might come in and say, in my office now because he's stressed about the budget.
Yes.
You know, and now he puts his anxious state on you. So the whole point about the certainty is when people are certain what is going to happen, they're in a toward state. So again, with your staff, if you call a staff meeting, is why do you call a staff meeting? What time will a staff meeting be? Where will it be? Not, well, we're going to have a staff meeting today. Nobody knows what's going on. So certainty is really, really important.
And certainty links back to transparency in some ways,
Yes.
doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
The third one is autonomy. I think if you think back when you were small and say, you will do that.
Because I said so.
Because I said so. You don't do it. So when people can make a decision, they feel that they are part of the process. And I think an ideology is a very good example where the people that come to you, first of all, do not want a hearing aid. So they're already in a way state. But as soon as you come in and say, this appointment is going to be 1 hour long, we're going to take your history, we're going to test your ears, and then we're going to discuss your results. Will that be okay? Suddenly they know what's going to happen. And then when you put them in a booth and you say, which ear do you want me to test first? Your left ear or right ear? Because for you it doesn't matter.
No.
But for him taking control, say, well, you can test my left ear first. That makes a difference. You know, so that when people can make decisions and they're part of decision making, they feel valued, their certainty, their status is elevated. They're in a toward state. Another important one is relatedness. We all want to be part of something. From the days of the caveman, they were tribes.
Yeah.
Today, we got a sports group. You know, we got church groups. We got business associations. We are still part of groups. And
we do. We want to belong.
We want to belong. And if I, for example, join the tennis club and I'm new, that group will see me as a foe. And first see, who is this person? Before they will open their borders for you to come in and be part of them. Because that's nature. So we all want to feel related. So from our customers wants to feel related to the business. The staff needs to feel related part of the company. So relatedness is so important, and that's where company culture comes in as well. Is do you make your employees feel that they are part of something? If you, for example, support an organization, you know, everybody must feel that I contributed to saving the lion in Africa, for example. So relatedness is such a big thing that if you feel that you're not part of that company or that group, automatically you'll be in an away state. You will not contribute. And if I employ somebody, I employ them for their skills.
Yes.
And if you're not part and feel you cannot share, then why do I pay you? So managers and owners must make people feel that they are part of something. The last one in the SCARF model is fairness. And fairness is part of my core values, is fairness. If there's no fairness, there's no deal. If you expect somebody to work 7 days a week with no extra money or bonuses, without a thank you, that family life of that person is suffering, that's not fair. But if you come and say, I need you to work for the next 3 weeks, 7 days a week, this is what I will give you, I will look after your family, I will send you for a weekend away with your family, there might be fairness. But if there's no fairness in a deal, I feel that I cannot do it. You're in an away state. And the same can be in a company culture where, for example, certain things get allowed all the time for certain people.
Yes.
Okay, but when this person is doing it, they get called into the office and get reprimanded and a warning. There needs to be fairness.
Yes.
There needs to be consistency.
Yes.
So if you follow SCARF, where you look at people's status, their certainty, autonomy, where people can make decisions, they feel related, and they feel it's a fair deal. Okay, company culture will change.
Yes. Yeah. How does one go about creating that relatedness? Because looking at things like raising someone's status, giving them certainty in a situation. Those are quite practical things. But I guess on a daily basis, how do you create that sense of relatedness in just everyday interactions?
That's where our values comes in again. If somebody is doing something that is aligned with the values,
Yes.
you can say, you know what, helping that lady into the lift and into a car, that is part of our values. Thank you for doing that. You acknowledge that that person is part of these values. You acknowledge that they've done a good deed, and that is what we're all about.
I think it's so important because we're so often criticised for what we don't do well or what we can't do, or not living up to expectations. It's actually quite unusual in a company to be complimented on something that you are doing that's consistent with values,
yes,
or to be given that positive feedback. And I guess what you're saying, it's the little things that happen during the day where you see a behaviour that's consistent with values, and you comment
and
on
you
and
acknowledge
reinforce it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what do you think will happen? That you get acknowledged, and the other person said, "But I've done it as well. But maybe I must just do more of it."
Yes.
And people start seeing it. But again, it comes down. Culture is the responsibility from the top. That consistency needs to be there from the manager to acknowledge every time he sees it as well, because people like acknowledgement.
Yes.
It's not always about the money.
Good.
It makes you feel good, and we all want to do good. And if you can do something good and it acknowledges that it's part of this company values and mission and purpose, I belong.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I must say the scarf model is something that you can just use in so many different situations. I think it can even change relationships with family members and with customers. So if you found the scarf model useful, or if you want some more information about it, please drop us a line or visit our website. We'd love to hear your thoughts and also to hear what scarf has done for you.
Visit us at vitalscienceconsulting.com.au.
Thank you, and see you next time.
Oh, Gerhard and Kathleen, what an absolutely tremendous show, and topping it all off with a great working model for people. I suppose one of the questions will come about for some business owners when it starts about culture. What are some of the warning signs that someone's not feeling part of the team, that I'm not doing the right thing by them? They're trying, but maybe they give me some warning signs that I can read that, hold on, I may not be doing this quite the right way to engage these people. What are some of the things you see? Is it emotional response? Do people just seem to get angry all the time or get upset all the time? Do you start to see these types of things go on?
I think you can talk from experience where a manager said, you're not paid to think. So what do you think that do to you? It's like, so I'll come to work and I'll sit here and I'll do, and you tell me what to do. That person disengage.
Yeah, you definitely become disengaged. And I think one of the things, ironically, that happens is a response to just put your head down and do your job. And it means what you do is you sort of become absorbed in the detail of what you're doing, which means that you're actually not communicating and collaborating. So what tends to happen is people almost become a little bit selfish in that they'll come in, they'll do their job, they'll do what needs to be done, but they're just not engaging really as part of the team. So it's a strange situation where it's not about performance management, because they might be doing their job very well, but they're isolating themselves, and that's kind of a key to, all right, there's something going on here. Yes, you're doing the work, but you're not really being fulfilled or feeling part of the company.
So it's almost like the person's now not feeling that they've got any extra value to give to the company, so they wouldn't bother giving the value anyway.
Well, it's become a paycheck. It's, I come to work, I keep my head down, I do my job, but there really isn't any giving or sharing or wanting to contribute anymore, because it's not really, they don't feel that it's valued.
But I also want to say on the other side is I had an amazing HR lady working for me, and she could pick up something is wrong with a staff member. And she will come to me and say, is it okay if I go and talk to the person? And the person would disengage, but it's nothing to do with work, it's personal. And by us then get involved and help them with that personal issue, okay, made them that they related again and feel part of the company, because we saw something was not 100%. We helped with the situation, so that it can go both ways.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying there is really important. You know, for me, the whole idea of having an HR person is that you're really there to look out for the people at the company. And as you say, as much as we'd like to say, oh, you know, leave work at work, leave home at home, that's not reality who we are as humans. What's going on in our personal lives is absolutely going to affect work. What's going on at work is going to affect our personal lives. And being able to provide support, again, makes you feel that you're really a valued member of the team.
And can I ask you, you discussed a lot, and through this show we've talked about the employees and the employer, and but when you're talking models as great as SCARF, and it's quite a sophisticated model, how important is it to teach all the staff members models like that so they can all participate in it?
100%.
And is that a challenge?
I think as soon as they see the results, then it goes easier. But again, it's for management to keep on reinforcing it. You can't today, you know, make people say you got autonomy, you can make decisions, and tomorrow no, you make no decisions. You need to be consistent in what you do as well. And it's a new habit. And remember, a habit never goes away. A bad habit never goes away. It goes to the back of the mind. And as soon as you don't reinforce the new habit, the old habit will come back. So it's important for managers to keep on reinforcing the new habits.
And I think there has to be, we've spoken a lot about authenticity, but there really has to be that authenticity to it. Nobody likes to be manipulated. Yes. So in terms of raising status, if you're going to give somebody a compliment, it really has to be a genuine compliment. This is not just teaching you a technique where you're going to sort of cut and paste. No. It's not about that at all. It's really about creating a culture where we value each other, where we respect each other, and it then becomes easy to just use the technique with patients as well. I mean, we use it all the time in the waiting room. You know, hello, Mrs. Smith, it's lovely to see you. Has anybody ever told you how lovely you look in blue? You know, thanks for waiting. We're going to go through for our 15-minute appointment. You just follow all those steps, and it almost becomes a natural part of what you do. For business owners watching and listening now, what would be your number one tip? Of all the things you discussed today, if I was going to do one thing to invoke a really good culture in my organization, what's your secret recipe? What's your number one? Reinforcing behaviors that are consistent with values.
I agree.
Yeah.
And be consistent in what you do.
Being consistent in how you approach and apply that.
Fantastic. What a great show. Thanks for staying back and adding a few little tidbits off camera. It's been fantastic. Kathleen, Gerhard, just once more, someone watching says, hey, I wouldn't mind having a chat about this and getting to understand how I can do it in my own business, my own company. What's the best way of contacting you?
I think Facebook will be good, Vital Signs Consulting, or our webpage, vitalsignsconsulting.com.au.
And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yes.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.